was all Notre Dame last night in a dominant Game 1 victory over Michigan. Tonight, the Wolverines look to bounce back in their final game of 2023, while the Irish seek the sweep in South Bend. And so we say hello and welcome you inside the Compton Family Ice Arena. Tony Simeone alongside Steve Conroy. So happy to have you with us for Game 2. If you missed Game 1 last night and you're a Michigan fan, you're probably not happy. It was an ugly one, a 6-1 victory for Notre Dame. But Steve, the first 15 minutes of that contest, we're going to show you all the goals. That first period was fast and furious between these teams.
You know, it was talent on display at its best. There was speed, there was scoring chances, and yes, there was a lot of finishes. And of course, Landon Slaggert has just had a fantastic season using his speed to get things going. But then it was Michigan on the 5-on-3 power play. TJ Hughes, that's a rocket. That tied it at 1. Huge hit by Ali. That was important because it created a turnover. Justin Janicki jumps on the loose puck out front to start the second period. It's Moynihan putting it in. Then it's Slaggert again. Goals just keep on coming. Great job there by Tyler Carpenter going hard to the net. And to finish things off, freshman Danny Nelson. Yeah, that was from range, but that's a great shot. That made it 6-1, and as you mentioned, just an unbelievable hockey game.
You can see how it all broke down last night. You just pointed out all the goals. This margin of victory for Notre Dame is the largest in the 100-year history of this rivalry against Michigan. They were outstanding. Notre Dame had scored just 2 goals in their last 2 games combined. They put up 6 last night. Now, the number that you see right there is Michigan. Just the single goal comes from TJ Hughes on the power play 5-on-3, which has been good this year. But we're going to show you a number right now, Steve. Almost 5 goals per game for Michigan in the first 13. The offense hasn't looked the same as of late, and injuries are playing a role.
Well, certainly, when you take a Rutger McGroarty out of your lineup, it's certainly going to hurt. A great centerman who wins a lot of draws, that hurts too. Well, I think when you look at that, the last 4 games, just 2.3 goals, what they've got to do is get back to what gets you scoring goals, and that's working hard and then paying the price in front of the net. There was a lot of one and done last night for Michigan. They've got to go to those tough areas, screen the goaltender, and then get second and third opportunities. There was very few opportunities like that for them last night. Let's see if it changes tonight.
We'll see what Michigan has in store in their final game of 2023. It was the largest margin in the history of this rivalry in favor of Notre Dame. We'll see how the Wolverines bounce back in Game 2 coming up next. Bischel on the left. He picked up his 8th win of the year last night with those 27 saves. He's now just 3/100ths of a point behind the top save percentage in the country. Jake Barczewski looking to bounce back. Only played the first 2 periods last night, Steve. He was pulled, likely fresh and ready for Game 2 tonight against Notre Dame.
Yeah, and that loss certainly wasn't on him. Sometimes the coaching staff will pull a goalie just to send a message to the rest of the team.
Noah West came in relief. Notre Dame and Michigan in Game 2 of this weekend series. The Irish won 6-1 last night. If you weren't with us at the top, it was the largest margin of victory by Notre Dame in this now 100-year rivalry. 162nd playing of it tonight. As Danny Nelson, who scored that 6th goal, backhands one towards net, and Barczewski is able to stop play 30 seconds in.
Danny Nelson not only scoring that goal late in the 3rd period, had a real strong game. He was a +4 on the night. That's not bad when you win 6-1. Great on the forecheck, and even that last rush up the ice. He just always seems to know what to do with the puck. It's always a good play when it's on his stick.
It snapped a 10-game goalless drought for Nelson, who had a couple of quick goals early in October for Notre Dame. Was scoreless, at least as far as a goal scoring standpoint is concerned, until last night, as there's a big hit. Paul Fisher takes a lick behind the play. He's run into by Garrett Shifsky. A couple of freshmen come together, and the puck's back out the other direction.
Fisher slow to get up.
Goes to the bench as Trevor Janicki shoots one. Beg your pardon, that was Knuble who shot one just wide. Janicki's got the puck, as this is now the shuffled second line for Notre Dame. Surprising to see the lines change in a 5-goal victory last night, but Grant Silanoff on the side of the net has a chance here, as Barczewski will now cover, and here you go behind the play, Michigan and Notre Dame.
Yeah, Trevor Janicki really not happy with Trescott. Looks like he maybe got cross-checked after the whistle, so he went right back at the captain of the Michigan Wolverines. Looks like there'll be some penalties. Trevor Janicki heading to the penalty box. as is Ernest.
Notre Dame penalty number 27, Michigan penalty number 6, both 2 minutes for roughing.
Roughing to call after the whistle. Some good opportunities. Cole Knuble got stoned a little earlier, then he passes it out front. And there you see Trevor Janicki. The hit on the captain, Truscott, then Ernest jumped on him. Couple of penalties, and we'll see some 4-on-4 hockey.
That seems to be something I think Michigan might like early on, Steve. Right after a game like the one we saw last night, something like that might energize you early.
Yeah, they needed something, and you know, sometimes you bring a little passion, and it transfers to your game too. So I'm sure Brandon Naurato had a lot of words for his team after that game. It wasn't very good. They've played a good first 20 minutes, but then after that, it really dropped off.
We'll see how they respond here. Ice opens up a little bit as well as they go 4-on-4. Michigan did score their only goal on a 5-on-3 power play last night as Dylan Duke goes to work here. Can't get the shot off. Good work by Pluzinski to prevent it from getting on net. Then he and Duke both go to the ice. Now Seamus Casey tried to feed one for Gavin Brindley, and it just hopped over his stick. Brindley's got it again. Great speed. Fires one just wide. Rebounds loose. Duke denied in front. There's a broken twig, and the puck's out to center. Hunter Strand is onto it for Notre Dame. Taken right back by Casey, who drives it in.
That might have been Zach Pluzinski who made that stop because he dove to his left, stuck his skate out. Now, maybe Bischel was there, but a good opportunity there for Michigan.
TJ Hughes, who had the only Michigan goal last night, just had the puck for a moment, taken away. Still some lumber near Bischel as Danny Nelson now speeds out of his own end. Look at this. Nelson puts on the Jets, moving in behind the net. He's forced to go wide and send it out for Drew Bavaro. Landon Slaggert shooting, looking for Michael Mastrodomenico in front. Couldn't connect with him. Nelson's back onto it. Off to Bavaro. Send it right back for Nelson, and he gets it back once more. The puck is moving here 4-on-4 on both sides of the ice.
Danny Nelson just showing his strength on his skates. Truscott tried to take him out of the play before he got to the puck, and it was Truscott who took the worst of the hit. Danny Nelson, although a freshman, a big body, and can certainly handle himself out there.
Another big hit behind the play. That time Mastrodomenico took a shot. Michigan's been laying it on thick here in the opening minutes. Philippa Point walks in, shoots over the bar. Penalties have expired, and they're back to 5-on-5 skating. There's Cole Knuble, his dad Mike, longtime NHLer, played his college hockey at Michigan. Ernest on his way in, and good back check. Henry Nelson, the brother of Danny, intercepts the puck and takes it away. There's Grant Silanoff. This game has a similar feel to last night's first period. These teams were up and down the ice in the opening 10 minutes as Ernest was looking for Keenan Draper, and it's Henry Nelson again able to break it up.
Using that long reach, that long stick of his to break up that play. Ernest, very noticeable early in this game. He had 4 shots last night, tied for the lead among Michigan Wolverines.
4 goals, a couple of assists so far this year for Ernest, as Casey has it behind his own net. Now Tanner Rowe forward for the Wolverines. Lofts one high and out to center ice. Quickly, Irish back into the offensive end. Tyler Carpenter, who scored his 4th goal of the season last night, shoots it high and wide, and it's back into the Notre Dame zone, and an icing call will stop play.
Well, there's Michigan head coach Brandon Naurato, and you know, I'm sure well, in fact, I talked to some of the coaching staff. In fact, the goaltending coach, Kevin Ryder, and he said that's the worst game they played in the last 2 years. And you see his numbers, his record at Michigan, outstanding. Won the Big Ten championship last year, his first year behind the bench. Took him to the Frozen Four. So he's got the resume. And right now, let's see whether he's got his team rejacked for this hockey game, because they were pretty flat for the last 40 minutes, Tony. They had a good start, but last 40 minutes, not very good.
Have to, of course, mention again, Marcus Stappa's out. Ethan Edwards is out. They lost Jackson Hallam for the season. Rutger McGroarty, 14th overall pick from a couple years back by Winnipeg, not with them. They need to get healthy. But we talked to him before the series as Bavaro drives one. Doesn't get all the way through. Barczewski's got the stop. And Moldenhauer settles it in his own zone. He was not making excuses when we talked to Brandon Naurato about their health, but he also said they really need this break to get healthy and come out of it with an extra pep in their step in 2024.
Well, I think that's going to work to their advantage too, because these players realize they've got to live with this game for a little over a month. And if they lose 2 in a row, that's what they take into the Christmas break with them. So this is an important game for these young student athletes. They don't want to be thinking about those 2 losses to Notre Dame over the next 5 weeks.
And if they were to lose, they'd actually go in to the holiday break under 500. They come in 7-7-3 tonight. These are important wins, and again, in the Big Ten so far this year, they're just 2-5-2. Some good teams in the Big Ten. There you can see on the screen the guys they're missing. They'll get everybody back except for Hallam when 2024 resumes. They've got a game against the development program, then Stonehill, and then Michigan State.
Yeah, Ethan Edwards was actually with the team. He was skating this morning with their goaltender coach, Kevin Ryder. And in fact, he hurt himself at a development camp, the New Jersey Devils development camp, even before the college season started. So probably won't be ready until early February.
Puck rolls around into the corner as Silanoff battles with the captain, Jacob Truscott. Now Marshall Warren, the transfer and grad student from Boston College, where he played 130 games before coming to Ann Arbor. TJ Hughes into the offensive end. His shot didn't get through. Now it's loose, and it's just spun through the paint that time by Ernest, and it's wide of the post.
Tony, that's something they didn't. Oh, big hit there by Bluzinski. Good job taking Ernest out, but Ernest with that opportunity. They weren't getting second and third opportunities last night. Good job by big number 6 to stand in that blue paint and try and get a goal. And Zach Bluzinski, I thought, just outstanding last night. Had an assist. He was a +3. And there's the stand-up on Ernest. 2 big bodies coming together. It was just prior to that, Ernest had an opportunity in front. But Zach Bluzinski brings so much to the table. You know, Jake Boltman, I thought, a real good game last night also. They don't always show up on the score sheet, but they have a big impact on the game, and that was just a great example.
Oh, a quick shot, and Michigan has the first goal. It's Frank Nazer delivering the opening tally.
Well, Frank Nazer was a -5 last night, and I'm sure that didn't sit well with him. And he gets an opportunity here. Looked like the shot from the point was partially blocked. It eventually gets through, and Nazer jumps on it. Nazer, a guy who's normally really good in the faceoff department. He was sub-50 last night. Oh, I take that back. That was not a shot. That was just a great dish. A real nice pass from the back end. That was Sean Casey, and we've heard his name a few times over this weekend. He's a magician with a puck. He just laid it in there for Nazer, and Nazer finished it off.
8th goal of the season for Nazer. Michigan's got their first lead of the weekend. Absolutely needed something like that to start this game. Nazer's a first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks from a couple years ago, and he's given Michigan the 1-0 advantage. You mentioned his plus-minus last night. I'm sure he woke up this morning ready to avenge that number, and he's done a good job to start that process with that opening goal.
Well, you know, that's the thing. You know, when you take a Rutger McGroarty out of the lineup and a Estapa, a centerman, a natural centerman, it puts a little more pressure on your game, and didn't respond really well last night. We noted some offensively, but when you're a -5, that means you're not doing a real good job inside your own blue line. So good start here for Michigan. It's exactly what they needed.
See how Notre Dame now responds, playing from behind for the first time this weekend, as Marshall Warren has the puck in his own zones, being worked on by Brennan Ali. He's out there with Strand and Justin Janicki as the third Irish line goes to work. Paul Fisher with his head up shoots. Barczewski makes the save, and Warren settles the puck behind his own net and can carry it out. Good work by Strand to tip that pass. Otherwise, Moldenhauer had a chance to work in. Out to center, and Ali sends it deep. Notre Dame will make a change as Barczewski stops it. Shots in favor of Notre Dame early, 7-4, but Wolverines have the opening tally thanks to Frank Nazer, the third. Talented sophomore forward for Michigan. Ryan Seedham for Notre Dame. Drives it around. Stephen Holtz holds it in. Now it's given away. Silanoff up ahead for Trevor Janicki. Here comes Trevor Janicki. Good work by Luca Fantilli to force him into the corner.
I understand what Trevor Janicki was trying to do, get it to his forehand, but he took it into traffic, and as you mentioned, Tony, Fantilli played it perfectly. Separated man from the puck.
Gavin Brindley drops it off for TJ Hughes. Kick saved by Bischel. Nobody for Michigan lurking out front. Otherwise, it was a juicy opportunity taken back by Janicki, and the Irish can break it out the opposite way.
Real good stop there by Ryan Bischel. You know, and even last night, shots were 7-1 early in this hockey game in favor of Notre Dame. After that first flurry, it was 15-4 in favor of Michigan.
Keenan Draper with a quick wrister. Bischel is able to see it, make the stop, and it comes out to center.
Another good stop there. And the fact that he punches it out, so important. You know, rebound control for Ryan Bischel, I think we don't maybe talk about enough. But he punched that in the corner, making sure that nobody in front of the net was going to be getting to that loose puck.
Landon Slaggert takes a spill, and that's going to draw the first penalty against Michigan.
Yeah, Keenan Draper realizes it right away. Tried to drop his stick in hopes that Slaggert wouldn't lose his balance, but he does. So number 33 to the penalty box for tripping.
Number 33, 2 minutes for tripping.
Called it the first penalty. There were those offsetting minors. It'll be the first power play of the night.
Watch 33. Tried to poke check, and he gets his stick between the legs of Landon Slaggert. He goes down. Draper heads to the box.
One bright spot for Michigan last night. They killed off both Notre Dame power plays. Michigan had one of the worst penalty kills in the country coming in. 60th out of 64 teams, only killing 73%. Irish were 0 for 2, though. They're now just 2 for their last 17, but a chance to tie the score here. Go to work in the offensive end here as Drew Bavaro saucers it down low from Moynihan. Tried to find the captain, Landon Slaggert, in a soft spot. Tanner Rowe takes it away, swept towards the line, and then it's off of the glove of Slaggert into the Michigan bench, and the faceoff will come to center ice.
It's one of those plays where Landon Slaggert was down by the goal line, and then he pops up about 20 feet above the goal line, hoping for that pass from Moynihan. It wasn't there. See him shaking that left hand. He tried to glove that puck in, keep it into the blue line, and not a lot of protection on the palm side of your glove, so he shakes it off and gets a little bit of a breather. 2 goals for Slaggert, who you just saw on your screen. He's now tied for second in the country with 12 goals on the season. The top number is 14, so he's not far behind. There's the new power play units out there with more than a minute to go. Trevor Janicki off to Ryan Seedham, comes back to Janicki. Sends it down low for Ali as the puck continues to move. Ali getting an opportunity on the power play.
Jeff Jackson said a couple weeks ago this was the next step for him. Now he gets a shot on the power play unit as Seedham's drive is blocked. Good work that time by Dylan Duke. Got a piece of it at the top of the penalty kill, and now Seamus Casey also gets a piece of a shot. Michigan blocked 19 shots last night. Janicki cranks one over the bar, and it comes out to the neutral zone.
Yeah, that's something that we didn't really notice as much last night, the 19 blocks. Notre Dame had 38 shots, so that's 57 shots directed towards the net.
Hunter Strand, another block. This time it's Tyler Duke. Dylan's brother goes down to block one. For a penalty killing unit that has struggled throughout the year, they've looked sharp so far here. Still some time, though. 10 seconds to play on this opening power play. Strand had it poked free, and it's Nazer who's tracked down by Seedham at the last second.
Yeah, real good penalty kill there by Michigan.
Time expires. Irish will change behind Ali, and it's back to 5-on-5.
Coach Navarro talked to us yesterday, Tony, about the fact they changed their penalty kill a little bit. They went from a 1-2-2, make that a 1-1-2 to a diamond, and sometimes that just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And of course, they went 2-0 last night, perfect in the penalty kill, perfect thus far, and a lot of pressure on whoever had the puck. And there you see them lined up. Really good stick there. That was Nazer again. Breaks the play, kills the momentum, and eventually gets the whistle.
You gotta love that too. Nazer has the goal. He's out there killing penalties as well. Off to a great start in his second game of this weekend series. There's Tyler Carpenter for Notre Dame. Backhands one. Too far out of the reach of Barczewski. Maddox Fleming couldn't get there. Now Philip LaPointe for Michigan. Sends one for Moldenhauer. Taken right back by the Irish. They intercept through center. Drew Bavaro was trying to carry it in. Then Draper takes it from him. And now it's back for Luca Fantilli. He's got his head up, connects with LaPointe. Uh-oh, Moldenhauer's in alone on Bischel. Here's Moldenhauer, and it's poke check free by Bischel at the last second.
It's a great area pass by Philip LaPointe. You know, he realized, I'm just going to put it to an area. Moldenhauer should be able to skate into it. He did. Had a partial break and another stop by Bischel.
Gavin Brindley, leading goal scorer for the Wolverines. Saucers one all the way across for Marshall Warren. He shoots, looking for a deflection. It did hit the stick of Dylan Duke, but went wide, and then it comes out to center. Now Trevor Janicki's got the puck. Here's Janicki off for Silanoff, looking for the tie, and Barczewski says no.
Well, his best save of the series thus far. Did a real good job getting from his left to his right. Good anticipation, and he absolutely shut the door.
Earmark that save for Barczewski. Allows Michigan to play with this lead for a little longer. They did not lead last night at any point in the game. They've got the opening tally tonight and still are ahead 1-0. For now, Landon Slaggert drops it off for Moynihan, and his shot goes over the crossbar.
Gotta hit the net. Great setup there from Landon Slaggert too, and you just got to make sure that gets on net.
Every passing week, somehow Landon Slaggert in his senior season seems to be getting better. Danny Nelson on his way in as the top line for Notre Dame's going to work. Then a collision with Barczewski will bring everyone together behind the net.
Danny Nelson might get a penalty here for goaltender interference. You got to avoid contact with the goaltender. He took it hard to the net, but then he bowled over Barczewski, and I believe he'll get 2 minutes. Ryan Bischel with that great Moldenhauer stop. And there's Philip LaPointe put it to an area, and actually Moldenhauer kind of lost on the stick handle. It ended up going right into Ryan Bischel. Used a good back of his paddle to stop that. And down the other end, watch Silanoff, who's new to this line with Trevor Janicki. One times it across his body. And that's a big stop by Barczewski.
They also have Nelson in the box. As you said, Steve, they've got him for the penalty here, and it's going to be a Michigan power play coming up as a result.
Yeah, I didn't hear the call, and I'm sure it's goaltender interference, and you've got to make every...
Yeah, that's the call.
Yeah, you've got to try and, you know, stop, put on the brakes, avoid contact with the goalie, and they are going to go to commercial break.
Okay, so they'll sweep the ice, and it'll be a little bit of a cleaner sheet for Michigan when they get a chance to set up the power play. We'll take the break with them and come back. Wolverines on top 1-0.
Coach Jay, congrats on 400. I know you meant a lot to me and definitely meant a lot to this program. So I'm happy I could be a small part in this big accomplishment for you, and can't wait to keep the season going. Go Irish.
Coach Jay, congrats on 400 career wins. There's no one more deserving, and thank you for all you've done for this university and for this program. Go Irish.
Congrats, Coach, on 400 wins at Notre Dame. It's an incredible accomplishment. You've done so much for this program and for this university. You should be so proud, and we're so thankful. So congrats again, and go Irish.
Coach Jackson, congratulations on 400 wins here at Notre Dame. You've meant a lot to this program, and you mean a lot to me. Can't wait to see you get to 1,000, Coach. Go Irish.
Those are just some of the current players that wished Jeff Jackson congratulations after he picked up his 400th win at Notre Dame last night. A ton of former players were involved in the wishes. They ran on the video board and on social media as well. 19 years, 400 wins at one school, Steve. It's an unbelievable accomplishment for Jeff Jackson.
You know, Tony, I've been doing games here for 3 years, and the fans, when they heard it was 400 games, I've never heard, good save there by Ryan Bischel, I've never heard a round of applause like that and a cheer for a coach.
Yeah.
It was great to hear they realize what he means to this program. The players certainly said it. I saw that, and if you get an opportunity, go to the Notre Dame hockey website.
Yeah.
A lot of former players, NHLers, Honors Lee, a really nice congratulations to the coach.
Seamus Casey off the face-off. Shot it just wide and over the bar. Notre Dame again on the penalty kill here after Nelson took the penalty for goaltender interference, and Ryan Seedham's going to have a chance to clear the puck. Okay, wants to send it for Slager.
Why not? Give it to the speedster.
Does he look faster this year to you?
Yeah, he does. He does. And I think, Tony, part of the problem last year, he had played a lot of hockey the previous year, the World Juniors, a couple of development camps. That takes a lot out of your body. And he's refreshed and he's stronger. He looks good.
Michigan now has a great power play. Rebound, Truscott, his shot deflects towards Bischel, goes behind the net. Seedham looking for a way to clear, but he's got 3 Wolverines around him, and they take it right back. Still more than a minute to go on the power play. This is a talented unit out there. Came in clipping right around 33% on the season. They now have 23 power play goals, the most in the country. Seedham intercepted, couldn't clear. Truscott down low. Duke's shot is saved. Then he fired it through the 5-hole, but it's wide. They try to go across the seam again, and Trevor Janicki can intercept and clear.
Yeah, Seedham stole that puck, but then on his backhand couldn't get it down. But the second cross seam pass, he picked it off, and they did get it 200 feet down the ice.
Here's Nazer. He's got the only Michigan goal tonight. Across for the point. Back for Nazer as they go to work with the second power play unit out there. Pass was into the skates of Marshall Warren. Gets it back, thinks about winding it up. Instead off to Nazer, who's had a shaky shift here. Loses the puck and runs after it towards the corner. Carter Slager, oh, he's looking for his brother Landon. Couldn't connect with him, and so Michigan can hold it in. 5 seconds left for Moldenhauer, who whistles one wide. Warren's right there to hold it. The penalty's over. Irish hustling to get back to 5-on-5 as the puck comes in on Bischel and is kicked wide.
Some tired penalty killers out there too.
Moldenhauer, as Michigan gets some fresh bodies on the ice to try to take advantage of these tired Irish legs. Nazer and Mastrodomenico battling behind the net. Strand's got it. Mastrodomenico, I don't think he's going to be able to get it out on his own. He needs help.
He's
got
an
oxygen tank.
Yeah, he couldn't even bend over. He was just standing straight up and couldn't do anything with the puck.
At long last, he does get to the bench. Oh, big shot behind the play. Draper takes a spill.
Boltman with another big hit.
Physicality seems to have come up a notch here in game 2. Draper's on his way in. Paul Fisher with his head up. Shrugs off a hit from Ernest, but it's back for Seamus Casey at the line. Shoots, looking for a deflection. Just went wide. And now it's Chase Pletsky who's got the puck. Off for Fantilli, whose shot deflects into the corner. Strand is there for Notre Dame. A little bit of time and space to get it out of his own end, and finds Brennan Ali. There's Ali trying to put the speed on, then jammed on the brakes to spin, and it's taken away by Justin Janicki, who will bring it back into his own end. Here's Janicki, scored a goal last night for Notre Dame. Dropped it off looking for Silanov. Brindley breaks it up for Michigan. And now the Wolverines will look for a way out of their own zone. Only 12 faceoffs in this game so far. Not a whole lot of whistles. Oh, here comes number 13. Yep. Funny how that
right
works.
On cue. Yeah, you figure there's typically between 50, 55 faceoffs per game. And we should point out, Notre Dame against one of the top NCAA teams in the faceoff department, and that's Michigan. They outbeat them 53% to, I guess that's 47%. So
that's good math.
Yeah, close to 54% of their draws. And that man who's in, well, Cole Knuble in the dot right now, but Ryan Carpenter, Tyler Carpenter ended up winning 5 of his 6 faceoffs.
Now, Michigan came in as the #1 faceoff team in the country, as you said, 55%. Notre Dame, though, 12th in the country at 53, so it was going to be a worthwhile battle to keep a close eye on. As you said, slight edge last night for the Irish. So far tonight, Notre Dame's got a 1 faceoff advantage, 7-6 over the Wolverines. Oh, comes out for Seedham. Another block shot, gets his own rebound though, shoots, deflects wide for Moynihan. He tries to then shoot one up high. Big hit as he collides with Warren. They're tied up as play continues. Danny Nelson into the corner, battling with Fantilli. Moynihan absorbs a hit, down low for Nelson. Centers out in front, comes free. Plusinski shot it just wide.
Looks like it maybe hit the outside of the post there.
May have caught a piece. Irish have maybe the best pressure they've sustained so far in this opening period on this shift right here. It was into the slot, couldn't be cleared. LaPointe trying to get it out. Oh, this Wolverines line is gassed right now in their own zone. Notre Dame trying to change behind the plate, never got out. Justin Janicki holds it in, bearing down across for Strand, and he scores! Notre Dame has tied the game thanks to Hunter Strand's first goal of the season.
Big assist to Landon Slaggert. You know, 4 Notre Dame players changed on the play. Slaggert stays out there, puts pressure on the puck. That allowed Justin Janicki to come in and help out. Watch, 1 man against 3, basically. Big hit. Janicki jumps on that loose biscuit. The pass to Strand, and Barchevsky gets a piece of it with his glove, not enough. It goes in the net. Slaggert won't get an assist, but he was a big part of this goal. And there you see it go off the glove of Barchevsky and in. Huge goal late in this period for Notre Dame.
Hunter Strand did not score a goal until this
Michigan
game tonight.
Is challenging for a potential missed major penalty.
Oh.
Challenging for the potential of a missed major penalty. And I'm not too sure exactly, unless it was the hit by Slaggert, because Slaggert absolutely railroaded Warren.
There was a hit, it might have been a couple minutes back, to Warren after the shot from Moynihan.
Yeah.
There was a shot from 18 Moynihan. After the shot, I thought he came up and hit Warren. This is the first hit.
Yeah, I don't think that's hitting from behind. I know the one you're talking about.
They didn't like it on the bench. I just remember them getting upset about it.
Yeah, Moynihan absolutely destroyed Marshall on that hit. Marshall Warren on that hit.
I'm going to guess that's what they're challenging.
You know, Fred Pletchke, who does a great job on radio for Michigan, he said it was a hit on Draper.
Maybe it was Moynihan against Draper. I can't remember if it was, but we'll see. No announcement as to what they are reviewing. I thought it was Warren, but maybe it was Draper. I thought it was after that Moynihan shot, though. Otherwise, it might have been a hit earlier in the corner. Anything is challengeable between the last whistle, so yeah, I know that our replay team is frantically trying to track down what they're talking about in there. And this is probably a worthwhile review because, Steve, think of it this way as well. If they do find a major penalty because of contact to the head, you'd wipe the goal off the board, and then you'd get a 5-minute major power play as well. So it's probably a good use of a risking, or for Brandon Naranjo to risk his time out in this situation.
It's kind of a double whammy if you're Notre Dame.
This is what I thought it was. Maybe it's not. I thought that's what they were looking at.
Yeah, you know, because he took the shot, the stick's up, but then he kind of pushed forward with it, and it did make contact with the head of Marshall.
I thought that's what they were upset about, and you can see he followed through up around the head or neck area. That might be why they challenged.
There's no major penalty on the play. The goal stands. Michigan loses their team timeout.
So they lose a timeout for that. We don't know really exactly what they were looking at, but I agree, and I keep calling it. That was Marshall Warren. I call him Marshall, but it was Warren who got that stick to the face. So,
I still think it's a good use of the challenge, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just losing a time. It's not like you're taking a penalty.
Right.
So, you know, in the NHL, sometimes when you challenge something, if it doesn't go in your favor, you take a 2-minute minor.
Well, the other thing, too, Steve, it may have also worked effectively as a timeout for his team. They were dead tired at the end of that shift. And I think there's maybe an element of that, too, where you don't want to let this thing balloon and somehow walk into the locker room trailing by a goal.
Yeah, kind of kills the momentum. You score a goal, and 20 seconds later, you're facing off. And, you know, there was a good 3-minute lull between that goal and when they actually dropped the puck. So what a shift, though, by that line.
Yeah.
And 4 of the 5 guys had gotten off. And maybe Slaggert was out there fresh, but he had the big hit. Justin Janicki jumps on the loose puck, and they certainly made Michigan pay.
There's Frank Nazar's got the only goal of the night for Michigan. Offensive zone draws. Notre Dame They said they iced the puck. They're trying to manage the substitutions right now and get the right 5 guys on the ice. They're gonna send Ali off. Okay, there we go. Now they're ready. Another face-off, this time the Irish take possession, look for a way out. They get it into the Michigan zone with nearly half a minute remaining in period number 1. Just like last night, extremely entertaining hockey between these two rivals. Jacob Truscott sends it ahead. This is tipped by Dylan Duke. Oh no, didn't make contact with it, so could be a pivotal icing call that brings it down into the Michigan zone, and now an offensive zone draw for them with plenty of time.
Yeah, the importance of face-offs, and let's see what Notre Dame can do here. You know, you win a draw, you got plenty of time, obviously. It's one of the few times in hockey that you can kind of draw up a play, and Cole Knuble, the freshman, in for this important draw.
He's going to go up against TJ Hughes. Irish win it. Seedham for Janicki, back for Seedham. One more time, Janicki on a one-timer. It's a good set play, but it tips up out. Wasn't quite in sync, it didn't look like at the end.
I like that play. Knuble, it was kind of a one draw, but then he gets help from the winger jumping in. Janicki bumps it back, and then he comes back to the point. It was kind of an umbrella, kind of like three-point man up around the blue line. A give and go with Seedham, and a good block there in front. Watch Seedham give it back to Janicki, and then the block by TJ Hughes. Good stick there.
Michigan got, fresh set of bodies out there. Then they try to clear it. It was deflected. I think by, they're going to say it should come out to center, I think. If it's off of a Notre Dame stick, that went all the way up into the second level here. If it hit Notre Dame last, it should come out to center ice.
So the linesman saying it went off of a Notre Dame stick, so the draw would come out outside the blue line, and that's exactly what's happening. So there's a lucky fan who did the right thing. He's pointing to where it hit, and he gives it to his wife or his girlfriend, and
bring your mouth card next time.
Yeah.
Now they're sitting up in the luxury boxes here, the O'Briens, where you can have a great time watching a game here at the Compton Family Ice Arena. I think you rarely assume a puck's going to come all the way up there.
Oh, another one. That one didn't quite make it up to O'Brien's. That was another one. Yeah, you got to pay attention. You're at a hockey game. You got to pay attention.
They got the buffet up there. They got all kinds of things that can distract you. Head needs to be on a swivel, especially when these two teams are playing as the final seconds come off the clock. I gotta say, Steve, these two first periods, last night and tonight, about as entertaining of a brand of hockey as we've seen on this ice all year.
You know, very exciting hockey. Really impressed with the bounce back by Michigan because they were embarrassed last night. They come back, they had the lead. Good late goal by the Fighting Irish, and again, we've got ourselves a hockey game.
Tied at 1 after 1 during the intermission. We'll have a chance, as we always do, to look back at the first period goals, as well as break down the stat sheet, and then you'll see Michael Smith sit down with the Chiefs' Chris Jones as they preview a big Sunday night football matchup coming up in a couple of days. Notre Dame and Michigan meeting up for the 162nd time it's lived up to the hype so far. Frank Nazer got the opening tally, and Hunter Strand tied it after 1. Notre Dame and Michigan, what else do you expect? Close game after 20 minutes of play. It was 2-1 in favor of the Irish last night. Tonight, much of the same after the first period, tied at 1. We welcome you back inside the broadcast booth alongside Steve Conroy, Tony Simeone. Happy that you're with us, spending your Saturday. If you're a Michigan fan, we know you're waiting for the football game later. You'll have time to get to that after this. I think, again, Steve, the first period, just awesome hockey. It's been so fun to watch these two teams when they have a full tank of gas.
Yeah, because there's skill on both sets of these teams. There's a lot of speed, too, and we saw great open ice skating. We saw some big hits, and, of course, we saw a couple of goals.
Let's walk through both of the goals. First, Michigan gets this going, and, Steve, when we saw this during the break, Seamus Casey really starts this with this keep-in off the faceoff.
Well, watch him jump to keep this in. That is in itself a great play. But then the pass, he dishes it on the backhand, an area pass, just to a perfect area for Frank Nazer. And he lets go a laser. It actually goes through the goaltender. The goalie was real good though. Ryan Bischel there, partial breakaway, makes the stop. Barchevsky down the other end does the same thing. But then late in the period, huge hit by Landon Slaggert, creates the turnover. Justin Janicki head up, spots Hunter Strand. And as you pointed out, Hunter Strand's first goal of the year. Barchevsky almost gets it off his glove, but then into the net. A real big goal for the Fighting Irish to close out that first period.
That was your two great examples, Steve, of a play away from the action leading ultimately to the goal. Pretty evenly played contest so far. What are you looking for from Michigan in the second?
Well, more of the same. And what we saw them do there was get to the front of the net and try and get second and third opportunities. They didn't do enough of that last night in periods 2 and 3. Let's see if they can do that in period 2, because it was a real drop-off in energy after period 1 for the Wolverines.
Should be a fun second period between Notre Dame and Michigan. It's coming up right after this. Almost set for the second period here in South Bend, but first let's go back a couple nights ago in Philly. This is Jack Hughes, went #1 in the draft a few years back, finding a former Michigan Wolverine, his brother Luke Hughes, with the game winner for the Devils. They're now playing together. Luke Hughes, of course, spent the last 2 seasons with Michigan. Now he's playing with his brother Jack on the Devils. Of course, Quinn plays for the Canucks. Quinn played here at Michigan a few years back. They certainly missed this guy this year, but he's doing great things in the NHL now.
Yeah, that overtime goal we saw was his 3rd on the year, and Jack Hughes, he is just a phenomenal talent. I mean, in that game, he had a goal and 2 assists. Of course, he set up his brother for that overtime winner. But yeah, you make a real good point. A lot of fantastic talent has come through not only Notre Dame, but the Michigan Wolverine program.
We certainly miss Adam Fantilli, who we mentioned last night, now with the Blue Jackets, went 3rd in the draft. He was a big part of that run to the Frozen Four last year, as Danny Nelson for Notre Dame shoots one in, and Barchevsky makes the stop. They were loaded with talent a couple years ago, too.
Well, I was going to say, Matty Beniers could probably still be here. Of course, he is starring for the Seattle Kraken. But that's what happens when you get good talent in the college ranks, especially in NCAA hockey. Chances are they're only going to be around for a year, maybe 2 years, and then you've got to replace them. So that's why it's so tough to be a head college coach in the NCAA college hockey ranks. You got to keep replenishing that well.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, right? Beniers, Owen Power, who went 1. They had Kent Johnson. They had 4 players on the team that were ultimately top 5 overall picks. I mean, they've been loaded with first-rounders, and here's another first-rounder. Frank Nazer has the only goal for Michigan tonight, set up Shifsky for a one-timer, and Bischel was able to stop it. Each netminder with a quick save to start the period.
And there's Nazer. Where's number 91? Because he was a huge Sergei Fedorov fan growing up. So he wears the Fedorov's number. Former teammate of mine, Sergei Fedorov. And you talked a little bit about last night. Not only a great hockey player, he could play any sport. He was just a great athlete.
Well, this one's tipped towards Bischel. He didn't see it, recovers, and ultimately makes the save.
You know, I think he felt it, Tony, and he didn't get it cleanly, so he looked in behind him right away. Earnestly right now talking it over with one of the Fighting Irish players, but there it is. And that's a sense the goalie has. He knows by the feel of the puck that it's not a square save, that it might be in behind, maybe in beside him, and that's exactly where it was.
You talked about that too. It's something you don't see often from Ryan Bischel. He's been so good throughout this season and his career with all that rebound control.
Yeah, and that's what really impresses me. Not only rebound control, but the way he plays the puck. He's like a third defenseman back there. We saw him on a penalty kill last night, get the puck 200 feet down the ice. In fact, Cole Knuble won. Now, speaking of Ryan Bischel, in the warm-ups, we watch him really closely, and what he goes through each and every warm-up. We talk about his edges. He does a real good job getting back and forth on his edges. And watch him right here. Those are just quick little movements, but what he's mimicking is just trying to stay square to the puck. Read the play, get square to the puck, and make yourself big. And it's part of his routine each and every game.
It's a ton of work those guys go through during warm-ups to get them ready for the 60 minutes you see on the ice, right? But a lot of the work happens in the minutes and even hours before they take the rink, right?
Tony, one of these days, I'm going to count. Big hit there by LaPointe on Knuble. 2 22s. They seem to be okay. But I want to count how many shots a goalie faces in the warm-ups because they're out here for 15 minutes. And I'm going to guess it's upwards of 60, maybe 70 shots they face. And that's just in the 15, 20-minute warm-up before the game starts.
You got to be wired a little bit differently to be between the net, right?
Yeah, they normally are. They normally are.
What was the Dominik Hasek quote? It was,
"Oh, I must see the puck."
I must see the puck.
Well, we didn't think he could speak English, and it was his first game in, and all of a sudden, in this broken English, I must see the puck.
He made it clear what needed to be done.
Yeah, well, he was one of the best. Did he not win the Hart Trophy 2 years as a goaltender, MVP of the league? I think he did.
I'll have to double check that, but he certainly was capable. You take your breath away when you watch Dominik Hasek. Yeah. As Hunter Strand has the Irish goal tonight, carries in and shoots, deflects towards net, and Barczewski quickly gets to it. This period does not quite have the same flow as the first, and we are getting confirmation again from our producer Derek Coleman, likely with the assist from Johnny McDermott that he did win it in the mid to late 90s, back-to-back years.
Yeah, well, you know, I got to play with him for almost a couple of years in Chicago, and he was unorthodox, but he was unbelievable. Yeah. And he just, even in practice, Tony, he would scramble and fight to make sure that he didn't get scored on. It meant that much to him.
Goaltenders, it's so fun, Steve, because they all have distinct styles, kind of like you think about different pitchers in baseball. It's a lot of different ways to get strikes and outs. Same with saves as Maddox Fleming fires and Barczewski makes a save right there.
Well, let's talk about Barczewski because he let in the 5 goals yesterday, 5 of the 6 goals. He has bounced back with a real strong performance. And that save right there was his 13th on the night. I talked to his goaltending coach, Kevin Ryder. Kevin Ryder was a coach in the U.S. NDTP from a few years ago. And on this one team, I just looked it up real quickly. Jake Ottinger was the goalie. Austin Matthews up front. Matthew Tkachuk, watch this.
Pluzinski's going to win a race against Brindley. That's impressive.
Yeah, and in fact, I thought Ryan Bischel might come out to try and play that. I'll get to the rest of the lineup after next whistle.
Oh, Hughes has some space and real estate. Centers the feed, deflected wide. It was an open cage that time for Casey. Somehow it didn't go in.
Might have hit Moynihan. He was standing there. Not too sure if it hit his stick or maybe his jersey from behind, but as you mentioned, Tony, that's a wide open cage.
Bischel was well out of position. Casey had a chance to possibly give them the lead there. I still don't really know how the puck missed the net. I think it had to be deflected in front.
Yeah. Well, Moynihan was in the area. Casey has been all over this game. Obviously, as the assist in the first period, but whenever he has the puck, he's just calm, cool, and collected. Really settles things down.
Last night, he did not have a point. It was only the second game this season he did not register a point. If you go back to last year, he had registered a point in 22 of 23 games. Such an important cog in their system from the blue line, and now Barczewski behind the plate has taken a spill on the net, is become dislodged as well.
And you know, I didn't see it until afterwards. I don't know if we're going to have a look at this from any of our cameras, but I think somebody was skating behind the net, maybe pushed it, and it fell forward. Unless Barczewski was behind the net, tried to scramble out front and took it out himself. But seems to be okay. This will be a good angle. Oh, it's his own player.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks.
Tyler Duke ran into the net. It's a great look to see how that happened. You rarely see that. There was not a lot of traffic behind the net, and ultimately it was Duke. Just didn't keep it tight enough in an angle. Now Bavaro walks his way in, shoots. Barczewski makes a big stop. The goaltenders have been on full display here in the first 3 minutes and change, as another whistle for offside is called here, but both Bischel and Barczewski making some important stops here early in the second.
Part of the reason this game is still tied at 1, and Barczewski, I talked about his goaltending coach, Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, and there's that last save by Barczewski. Charlie McAvoy, Tage Thompson, Troy Terry, Jordan Greenway, all on that hockey team.
Wow.
So Kevin Ryder, the goaltending coach, Jake Ottinger, of course, he had him under his wing. That's a lot of talent, and yeah, he went out of his way to make sure that we knew that loss certainly wasn't on Barczewski. It's just a team loss, and the goaltender really had very little to do with it.
We saw something similar from Notre Dame last week, coming off a 6-1 defeat against Boston College. Ryan Bischel not responsible for all 6, but he bounced back well last night as Nazer fires one in on Bischel, and he once again is up to the test.
I like this play by Nazer. He uses Boltman as a screen. So he's got the puck outside, he pulls it in, and then he snaps it through the legs of Boltman. That provides a little bit of a screen. Watch from this angle, you might see it. Pulls it in and then through the legs of Boltman. And from this angle, you'll really see it. Just pulls it in a bit. Watch the 5-hole on Boltman. That's where the puck goes. And good stop there by Bischel.
That was a great look on that last one. To illustrate the point you were talking about, Steve, that has got to be tough as a goaltender to see it coming through your own defenseman's legs.
Yeah, well, and no, he meant to do that. You pull it in, you get the defenseman to move a little bit, maybe open his legs a little bit, and then you put it right through that hole, right through the wickets, and it provides a bit of a screen, and Ryan Bischel was all over it.
Long pass ahead for Ernie. He able to settle it down, and as he tried to bring it back out towards the line, had it come off his stick, so he has to retreat to center. Then takes a big hit from Tyler Carpenter. Goes down to the ice, and it's Carter Slaggert for Notre Dame who settles it.
Ernestie's been on the wrong end of a couple of big hits here in this hockey game so far.
Gavin Brindley drops it off for Marshall Warren. Down low it goes, back out for Brindley. In the slot, holds and shoots just wide. Didn't miss by much.
Bischel didn't see it. He did not move until he heard it hit the glass in behind him.
Brindley came into the weekend tied for 4th in the country in goals with 10. Still does not have one on the season. It's close right there. Is now the centering feed into a dangerous spot. TJ Hughes has the puck for the Wolverines, and now he'll cycle it back out towards the line for Brindley. Across it goes for a one-timer. Loose in the slot. Rebound opportunity for Truscott. Bischel was sprawling, but he couldn't get the shot on frame.
Some tired defenders out there for the Irish.
Brindley again with space, holds and fires it over the bar again. It's twice Brindley had a chance, missed the net. The puck will be iced, and you wonder now if Jeff Jackson considers a timeout with how gassed this 5-man unit is.
Yeah, very possibly. But boy, can Brindley fire a puck? I mean, unfortunately, didn't hit the net, but a couple of times just absolute lasers jumping off his stick. And there you see Warren from the point, the traffic in front. And there's Truscott. Tried to pull it to his forehand and just couldn't pull the trigger.
He didn't go with the timeout. See if they can get a face-off and get it cleared. Puck comes around. Truscott pinching down. Collides with Carpenter. Then Nazer takes a hit. Fleming's got it. Around for Seedham. I think he's going to be able to get the job done. Off of Carter Slaggert, who gets it in deep, and now 5 new Irish players can come on.
Yeah, that was important. Those guys were still tired. The hard pass by Seedham just gets redirected by Carter Slaggert to get it down the ice.
How about this face-off number? Notre Dame right now 21-11 on the face-offs against the #1 face-off team in the country, as Moynihan winds up a slap shot and Barczewski can stop it and freeze play.
Yeah, that was important because Danny Nelson heading hard to the net. I thought Moynihan might be able to give it back to Danny Nelson here. It was kind of give and go. Watch Nelson dish it off and then head hard down the middle, down the gut. If he gets it back there, he's in behind the defender. Would have been a tough pass. C11 is sticks in behind Fantilli. Now maybe Moynihan's hoping for a rebound. Got to shoot it a little lower, get it off the pads, and then maybe the puck comes off the goalie.
This puck's driven in to the Irish zone. Bischel will play it from behind his net, start to break out the other way. Landon Slaggert had 2 goals last night, tied for 2nd in the country in goals with 12, as Barczewski stops it, plays it behind his net, and the Wolverines are out the opposite way. Moldenhauer drops it off for a streaking, this time, Stephen Holtz, who comes down, defenseman below the line. Puck hops high into the air, and Moldenhauer's back on it. Now Chase Pletzky, transfer from Miami, played 100 games there before coming here for a grad season. Nazer tried to take away a loose puck and get it on net. Then a rebound opportunity for Pletzky wouldn't go. Seamus Casey, tries to pirouette, loses his footing, gets it back. Here's Casey on his way in to the net. Big collision, puck is loose, and Bischel now covers it.
You know, Tony, we talked to head coach Naurato yesterday about Casey, and he said it's his stick, it's his skating, and it's his brain, and we saw it all on display right here. Watch the cutbacks from 26. He'll even lose his balance, get back up, and then again the edges. And the acceleration as he's crossing over. Well, that's a real big stop by Ryan Bischel. Remember that stop, because Casey, and there's the pirouette, gets tripped but gets up and then gets to the net again. Somehow that puck stayed out of the net.
Big Ten all-freshman team last year. For his career, averages nearly a point per game. He's got the puck again right here, as his shot did not get through cleanly.
Does he ever come off the ice? that was a taxing shift.
Yeah.
And he stays out there. Action again.
We'd love to see his time on ice numbers, as look at who it is. Skating back, it's Casey to prevent Trevor Janicki from running in uncontested. Now Knuble drops it off for Grant Silanoff. He'll take it behind the net, center. Oh, and then Janicki on a loose puck in front, fired it. May have been saved and then even caught a piece of the post.
Yeah, it looks like it maybe went off something before it got to the goaltender.
This shot from Boltman is blocked by Nazer. A couple of times that Nazer, the lone goal scorer tonight, has given up the body for a block in front.
He wasn't too happy about that -5 last night, so he's doing a real good job in his own zone.
Dylan Duke fires for Bischel. He kicks it towards the corner. Wolverines change behind the play. Second period's been a little bit tighter to the vest, more herky-jerky, but still plenty of opportunities on both sides of the rink. No goals to show for it yet, though. It's tied at 1 after 1. That's still our score as Strand has it below the goal line. Jams on the brakes, now throws it out to the line for Pluzinski. Fakes a clapper across. Mastrodomenico holds and then fires for Barczewski, who could see it the whole way and make the save.
Well, 30 seconds ago, Trevor Janicki with a real good opportunity in front of the net. Silanoff takes it wide, throws it out front. It looks like it goes off a stick maybe, and it ends up on Trevor Janicki's blade. And the shot, yeah, you're right, Tony. It went off the helmet, went off the face mask of Barczewski. So sometimes you got to use your head as a goalie, and that was a perfect example there from Barczewski.
Good opportunity for Janicki, who for Notre Dame now has not scored a point in his last 6 games. This is a guy who scored 15 goals 2 seasons ago, 5th year graduate student. Certainly capable of getting into double figures in goal scoring, and had a flurry where he had 3 goals in a 4-game span. But other than that this year, they've just not gotten the consistent offensive Trevor Janicki.
Yeah, I agree. And he brings a lot to the table, and you know, head coach Jeff Jackson talked about it. There's the intangibles, and they're really happy with those intangibles, the battles along the boards. But I just think he's got to get a little greasier in front of the net. And that was a great example. He was standing there. That's a good place to be standing. You know, unfortunately went off the goaltender's face mask, but you got to get to those greasy areas. And I think that's part of the reason Landon Slaggert's scoring a lot of goals. He's going to those tough areas. And there you see the breakdown by season. A couple of years ago, 15 goals, which, you know, that's gravy. That's fantastic. And this year has been, you know, he's doing the other things. And
20-plus points in each of the last 2 seasons, and just 4 so far this year, approaching the midway point of the year. It's well behind his pace. Now, the glass half full approach is that if he's a 20-point per season kind of guy, you can bank on him picking up some of the weight the rest of the way here. Puck's along the wall. Notre Dame looking for a way out. Seedham drops it off for Pluzinski. He's tied up with Ernest behind the play. Puck's into the Wolverine zone. Ali tried to drop it through his legs for Janicki. It allows Michigan to stretch it ahead off the stick of Nazer, and they'll change. That puck then came out briefly, came right back in, so offside's the call.
Well, Tony, we touched on Jeff Jackson, his 400th win, and we talked to him last week about it, the potential of getting to 400. And, you know, the first thing he did was talk about the people that surround him. And we saw Brock Shahan just talking to him. Paul Pooley, of course, longtime assistant coach. Andy Slaggert, who's normally upstairs here with us. But he also went out of his way to mention the training staff. You know, Kevin Ricks, the athletic trainer, and equipment manager, Paul Dooley. Ooh, that was a good opportunity there by Nazer again. It looks like Philip Lapointe upended and knocked into the net. And then he also mentioned the strength and conditioning coach. I know you know, Tony Rolinski. I mean, you know, people behind the scenes that we don't always talk about. And he wanted to make sure that the wealth was spread. And he said, it's not just a number for me. It's a team effort. Not only the guys on the ice, but my entire staff. So kudos to Jeff Jackson. He never wants it to be about him.
Yeah, and you saw those players in those videos that they sent as well. He was quick to point out all the great players they've had here, certainly. And then on top of that, they're actually going to bring out
Watch this.
a tool. They're going to screw drive into the...
They're re-drilling the hole because the peg wasn't going in properly. And there, yeah. It's just a rubber peg, and that's why the net comes off so easily. Now, I played in an era where they had literally iron pegs, and the nets wouldn't come off. And Mark Howe suffered a very serious injury in Philadelphia, and that's part of the reason that rule changed. And I'm talking about going back to the mid-'80s.
Yeah. Lofted puck for Landon Slaggert. Here's his shot, and it just goes wide. Slaggert coming off a 2-goal game last night. Puck's loose at center. Brindley skated past it, but right there's Tyler Duke to regain control for the Wolverines. They led 1-0. It's a brief lead. It's their only lead of the weekend so far. TJ Hughes scored the lone goal last night and just took a shot that didn't get through.
Well, this period, though, haven't they played a lot more in Notre Dame zone? I mean, I'd say 65–70% of the action has been to our left right now, down in Notre Dame's end.
Feels like the Irish have had less real estate to operate with as well. Last night, kind of had their way, specifically when it was like this, 5-on-5 in the second and third periods. Different story tonight, not surprising. A team with as much skill as Michigan. Didn't expect them to sit back after that loss last night. Puck is loose behind the net, rattled towards the top of the crease. Comes free for Ernest, and back come the Wolverines 2-on-2. Shifsky had the puck poked free by Bavaro. Drops it off for Casey. Here he comes, dangling towards net. Tried to lay it off for Nazer, and he couldn't connect.
Boy, he's got quick hands, doesn't he? Real quick hands.
On the show, Silinoff trying to steal it back, and Barcheski flashes the leather with an excellent glove save.
What a save.
The game is still tied thanks to the left hand of Jake Barcheski.
Good opportunity here for the Fighting Irish. I like the fact that Cole Knuble takes the hit, makes the play, and Silinoff, boy, that is an absolute laser from about 30 feet out. Look where Jake Barcheski is, on top of the blue paint. A lot of trust in that glove, and he makes it look easy from that angle. Absolutely robbing number 9.
Goaltenders have been the story here in the second period. They both have 18 saves on the game. Only one puck has gotten by them. We should mention that Jake Barcheski, who you just saw there, was the Big Ten second star of the week last week. Had a shutout against St. Cloud. He's played well for them. Played 4 years at Canisius. Really experienced player that has certainly given this team a chance throughout the year. And when they get healthy, you figure he's the kind of guy that can do enough in net that when all the talent's on the ice, they have a chance to make a run.
Yeah, he could certainly run with it. And it's his net right now to lose.
Paul Fisher's shot, freshman defenseman for Notre Dame, who's looked better and better each week. Tracks the puck down behind the net and then lets the forwards take over. There's Trevor Janicki, still sitting on 3 goals. His shot didn't get through. Brindley breaks it up. He can bring it out the other direction. He'll gain center instead and throw it into the corner.
Yeah, they needed a change towards the end of his shift. He realized that, so he just wanted to make the red line, make sure it's not an icing, and get it deep and get off.
Silinoff takes a hit. Goes to the ice. Coaching staff for Notre Dame wanted a call. Play continues. Philip Lapointe, senior forward. Drops it off for Moldenhauer, playing out there with Keenan Draper. Their dads played together in the NHL, as we mentioned last night. Moldenhauer being worked on by Seedham. And now Strand comes away with it. Puck comes towards the line, but Holtz is right there to hold it in for Michigan. Stephen Holtz, great to see him on the ice. Across for Luca Fantilli. Holds, shoots. Bischel makes the first save. Rebound that time for Moldenhauer. Gets in on Bischel, and then he's able to fall on top of the puck and stop play.
Oh, that's a real good stop by Ryan Bischel. You know, and again, he checked in behind himself because I don't think he got it cleanly. Looks like he squeezed that glove hand against the body, and there's Keenan Draper, who's a lot bigger than his dad. Now watch the shot. Now that's through traffic. It goes off his stomach, and here's the second attempt. Yeah, he gets it on the glove, and then it rolls up his arm, and he senses where the puck is. That's the key. So he keeps that arm, not too sure where it is. The puck disappeared on me. but Ryan Bishel knew where it was. Rebound control has been really good. And that's why this game is still tied.
Some great goaltending here in the second period. As Ernest shoots and Bishel is able to make the save. Talked about it a few moments ago, Steve. You mentioned Draper and LaPointe. There's the two kids on the bench. Mentioned their dads played for the Red Wings. So you got Philip on the left, Keenan on the right, and then two guys I know that you're very familiar with from your playing days and being around hockey all those years. Marty LaPointe and Chris Draper.
Yeah, my teammates in Detroit for a little bit, and they look very similar to their kids. I think the kids are a little better looking than the old men, though.
Funny how that works, right?
Yeah. But you know what? It's really funny being up here is watching these guys skate. And when I see Philip LaPointe skate, it's like, that's Marty LaPointe.
Wow.
And I see Keenan Draper, even though he's a lot bigger than Chris ever was. Keenan Draper's 6'1", but a lot of the same similarities. And it's funny how that just kind of transfers from the father, to the offspring. And both of these guys, important parts of the puzzle here in Michigan.
The Stanley Cup runs, 96-97 and the 97-98. We're around for those.
It's funny, those guys were line mates. I know when I played with them, they were together, and then their sons line mates here for the Wolverines.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see them play on the same line. You saw them come on the ice at the same time. They were standing on the bench together. I'm sure the dads probably get a kick out of that as well, watching them in that position.
And the dad's still involved in hockey. We should point out Marty LaPointe, a higher up with the Montreal Canadiens. He's in management, and Chris Draper the same thing. I believe he is considered an assistant GM with the Detroit Red Wings. So yeah, hockey's in their blood, and hockey still runs strong in the family.
Mentioned it earlier, is right now at the face-off circle for Notre Dame, Cole Knuble. His dad played at Michigan. There's all kinds of family ties when you think about hockey in this region, right? The Midwest, so many schools, of course, in the Big Ten. Probably interesting night for Mike Knuble to watch his son play against his old team.
Yeah, well, Mike lives in Grand Rapids now. He's born in Toronto, but he's spent most of his life growing up in Grand Rapids, and that's where Cole grew up. A lot of people thought Cole would go to Michigan just because his dad did.
Trevor Janicki gets the shot on Barczewski, who comes out to the top of his paint, and he stops play.
Remember yesterday in the first period when there's hardly any whistles at all? That's kind of changed a little bit. And that's what happens in a tight hockey game.
Yeah.
So now it's 1-1, and everyone's playing everything really close to the vest. Unfortunately, that shot by Trevor Janicki right into the breadbasket, right into the midsection of Barczewski. So that's an easy stop for him.
Well, I mentioned around this point of the first period, minutes left, there have been 12 total face-offs in the game. I'm looking at it right now, they're up to 43. So there have been 30 face-offs in the last 17 minutes or so of game action. So they're good for about 2 face-offs a minute right now. And look at that number, great work again. Michigan on the season, Notre Dame, and Michigan's #1 face-off team in the country, but the Irish have had the edge on the weekend as Bavaro makes a man miss, then gets a shot off. Barczewski the save. Ali holds it in for Notre Dame.
That's a great fake, a head fake, a little dipsy-do. He tries it again.
Off to Fisher, he shoots. Barczewski takes a spill, puck is loose, and critically, Luca Fantilli can skate it out of harm's way.
Well, the D really involved last night in the offense for making some real good decisions from the blue line.
Keep an eye on Barczewski. That was a weird spill for him to take. He looks all right as the puck rolls into the corner. Justin Janicki looks for a way out, connects with Ali. He speeds through the neutral zone and sends it ahead for Hunter Strand. Seamus Casey, though, look at him work. Protects the puck and sends it ahead for Shifsky. He takes a spill, back for Casey. Here's Seamus Casey on his way in, and Seedham does well to hold him off at the last second.
The puck just seems to follow him around. There's no panic in his game. Even when there's a guy chasing him behind the net, he just seems like he's, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but very relaxed, and he's got good speed. But more importantly, just real good awareness on the ice.
Leads all NCAA defensemen in points. 23 now on the season after his assist on the goal today.
I think he leads. I know going into the game yesterday, he led all defensemen by 4 points. The next closest guy was at 18.
Yeah.
That was as of yesterday.
It's been fun to watch tonight. Danny Nelson pivots in the slot. Nelson on his way in and shoots the puck just wide. This is the top line for Notre Dame going to work right now. Top line, or second line rather, is out there for Michigan as the puck's back into the Irish zone. Not cleared, held in by Duke. He's got Hughes winding it up, off for Brindley, back for Duke, and they score! What a passing clinic from the Wolverines to retake the lead.
Well, I thought Hughes should have shot it, then I thought Brindley should have shot it, and the guy who eventually ends up shooting it ends up scoring the goal, and that was Dylan Duke. Irish had control of the puck, an unforced error, they turn it over. That's Ryan Seedham who's trying to get it up the ice, and then it's Hughes who passes to Brindley, and then Brindley, that's a great pass backdoor to Dylan Duke, and that's a real big goal. 3:50 to go here in the second period. Nothing that Ryan Bischel could do on the play. It reminded me of a Boston College play.
I was going to say the exact same thing. That top line of Smith, Leonard, and Perreault that Notre Dame fans got brutally accustomed to last week, who wreaked havoc on the Irish and have, quite frankly, wreaked havoc across college hockey. That looked just like it. Three forwards sharing the puck, and it hits the back of the net.
And, you know, you're a coach on the bench, and you're like, shoot it. And then the next guy, you want him to shoot it. And they're making the right decisions.
Here's LaPointe. What a response by Michigan. Again, they're down so many key contributors this weekend. Most notably, Rutger McGroarty unavailable. Expect to get him back when they resume play in 2024. Had the early 1-0 lead, saw it evaporate at the end of the first period, and now they've scratched and clawed their way back. Barczewski's made some big-time stops to keep them in it, and Dylan Duke gives them the lead. More pressure on here as this shot goes well wide of the cage, and Bischel will cover it.
Well, they've just possessed the puck a lot more in the offensive zone. You know, yesterday they were one and done, and then they had a tough time getting back in the offensive zone. This time Michigan, you know, they're making the blue line, they're making the button hook, cutting back, getting the defenseman involved. Sean Casey, we've noticed him a number of times, as was Warren, Marshall Warren also. So, you know, the defense doing it, and there's Casey. Seems like he's out there every second shift. I really wish they'd keep track of time on ice.
Yeah.
But he is really helping control this hockey game.
I'm sure that data is somewhere. Just got to know the right guy to get us the password. Here's Dylan Duke. Just scored the goal. They're looking for more. That shot from Hughes didn't get through. Good stick that time by Cole Knuble. He takes it back the other way. Here's Knuble trying to pull his way through, and guess who? Seamus Casey skating back to break up the play.
Real good stick check there. It looked like Cole Knuble was going to shoot it, try to pull it inside, and he gets stopped by Casey.
Gavin Brindley had it for a moment. Now it's back through center, and Knuble's on the puck again. He's 1-on-4 as the Irish change behind him. Puck rolls into the corner. It'll likely go off now as Marshall Warren does chip it out to center ice.
Ooh,
2 minutes left in the app.
Justin Janicki and the rest of the Wolverines aren't really too happy. Truscott comes in. That was Warren on the wrong end of a high stick from Justin Janicki. Ernest and Ali going at it in front of the Wolverine net. Good to see Warren up on his skates. He's in a little bit of discomfort. Their trainer over talking to him. Now you got to wait to see what the call is. The problem here is, doesn't even touch the puck. You know, Warren doesn't even touch the puck, so it's interference, but it was a cross check. Kind of a dangerous position too, just 2 feet off the boards.
You hate to see this too. Now Warren coming off the ice slow.
Yeah. He's another guy who's been logging lots of ice time for this Michigan team. Now, keep in mind, if you weren't with us yesterday, the Wolverines have dressed 8 defensemen. Because of all the injuries up front, they're going with 8 defensemen, 11 forwards.
Notre Dame call on the ice is a minor for cross-checking. The play is under further review.
Yeah, that was Brian Brewster who was walking him off the ice there. He's their athletic medicine administrator. And now you heard they're going to review this to see if it needs to be elevated from a minor penalty, which is what it is currently on the ice.
Well, a couple things going against young Justin Janicki on this play is the fact that, you know, Warren was just a couple of feet away from the end boards. He hadn't touched the puck, and so it's a dangerous play. And it's not quite from behind. It's almost from behind, though. So this is certainly up to the referees. You know, and if Warren, and you hate to think about it, but if Warren goes in head first there, that's a real dangerous play. So he did a good job making sure that, you know, he laid down, got sideways to the boards, not head first.
I think what you mentioned originally, Steve, is what they've really tried to focus on over the past, I don't know, decade or so. He's in a really vulnerable area of the ice there, where the collision takes place, and there was, I think, a lot of time to make an adjustment and pull up.
So here's the call.
After review, the call on the ice stands. Number 8 for Notre Dame, 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Well, they got away with one there, I think. 2 minutes to call, just a minor penalty. Still a penalty, and with just 2 minutes to go in this period, you know, unless the Wolverines score, we'll close out with a man advantage. There's another look at that play.
You sit right behind this Michigan bench. Brandon Naurato hasn't looked too animated about it.
But you know what? Why the referees are back in?
They are back in the box. Now, this could be administrative, right? You could be checking on the clock, making sure you got all the right guys in the box for roughing. Right now, there's only 2 players in each penalty box, because I believe they issued roughing calls after the play.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So maybe they're just making sure they've got the right personnel in the penalty box, but I'm with you. It was reviewed, and they're back in there. They're going to talk to both captains, Landon Slaggert and Jacob Truscott. It might be the fact that there's 2 minutes on the clock, and these guys could go to the dressing room. I don't know. Now Landon Slaggert's gone to the bench to relay the message, and Jacob Truscott will do the same.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be a 4-on-3, maybe, because there's coincidental minors. And the referee just came over to the Wolverines bench, told them that it was a 5-on-4. The draw will come down all the way to Notre Dame's end, so it'll just be off to the left of Ryan Bischel.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so with that all sorted out, it looks like it's time to play hockey.
And now, a huge opportunity for Michigan. Again, they came into the weekend with a power play in the top 5 in the country. Second to be exact. 33% is what they were clipping at coming in. They have not scored on the power play tonight. They scored on a 5-on-3 last night. And wouldn't they love to take a 2-goal lead into the second intermission? Here's Casey, 1-times-1, loose, backhanded shot that time. Bischel sprawling, makes the save. Puck is still loose behind the net. Wraparound try by Duke as he jams at it at the side door. Wouldn't go, and Knuble cannot clear. Brindley held it in. Pressure still on for the Wolverines. See what happens here. Notre Dame could take a look at that as well if the puck does get in the back of the net here. It came out towards the line. They ruled that Brindley held it in. A backhand through traffic. Dukes lurking on the doorstep. Couldn't corral it, and now the puck is out to center. Knuble can clear it, and Notre Dame can change.
Well, early in that power play, T.J. Hughes had an excellent opportunity on the backhand. Just couldn't get it over Ryan Bischel. And then there was a wraparound attempt. I'm not too sure who had the wraparound, but a great job by Ryan Bischel getting from his right to his left to close the door.
Here's Hughes again, navigates towards a dangerous area. Now stops up and gives it off to Casey. Brindley, one-timer, hit the outside of the post.
And we can hear it from up here.
Michigan hunting for that 3rd goal. You can see the power play is going to expire, I think, a half second after the period does. Casey for Hughes. That one deflected up high. Would not go. Bischel may have gotten a piece, and it's out to center ice.
Tony, if he got a piece of it, it was with the knob of his stick. And we'll get a look at that again. There's a lot to look at. Watch this.
And now Janicki, he can tie it short-handed, and he backhands it wide.
You know, that's kind of the look of a guy who doesn't have a lot of confidence. He made the right move, went to the backhand, but then just, you know, puck was up on edge, and he didn't feel really comfortable with it. And that's what happens when you go through a goal-scoring drought.
That's going to bring an end to the second period. Notre Dame and Michigan with plenty of action in the final seconds there. And as the dust settles, it's going to be the Wolverines taking the 2-1 lead into the locker room.
Yeah, and they really outplayed the Fighting Irish in period number 2. It just seemed like the majority of the good chances were down in front of Ryan Bischel and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
During the second intermission, going to have a chance to break down those opportunities you just saw there in the waning seconds, and also have a chance to feature some Big Ten basketball coming up on Peacock here in a couple of nights with NBC. Michigan has the 2-1 lead thanks to Dylan Duke. Bangs it in on the doorstep, and they're on top after 2. Michigan has the 2-1 lead after 2 periods of play. It was tied after 1, and Dylan Duke had the only goal of the second 20 minutes as we bring you back inside the Compton Family Ice Arena. Tony Simeone, Steve Conroy. If you hear some cheers behind us, it's because they're right now showing an Elite 8 soccer matchup between Notre Dame and Indiana that's in penalty kicks, so you'll hear a lot of roars or groans depending on how that goes. Plenty of roars, I think, for Michigan there in the second period. Yeah. Steve, you pointed out they spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. They were rewarded with that goal from Duke. They looked a lot better in that second than they did at any point last night. Yeah, they played with a lot more confidence. Puck possession really seems to be a key point of their game tonight. They're possessing the puck. They're getting shots. Maybe more importantly, they're getting retrievals too. So, yeah, there's one of those goals that you talked about. That's not for us. I wish it was. That was a goal for Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I think, just scored against Indiana. Let's show you how Michigan scored on this rink against Notre Dame. Great power play, or bigger part, just great goal, 5-on-5 passing from these guys. One of the best lines on the team. Yeah, Notre Dame unable to get the puck out. They had an opportunity. It gets kept in by Brindley. He's it to Hughes. Hughes to Brindley, and then right across to Dylan Duke, who's wide open. Nothing Ryan Bischel could do on the play, and that's just tic-tac-toe. And on that power play, you know, talk about scrambling saves. Great job there by Ryan Bischel to keep it a 1-goal game, and an opportunity shorthanded for Trevor Janik. He takes it to the backhand and shovels it about 2 feet wide. Unfortunately, that just slid off the stick the wrong way. He was upset about it, but a furious finish to that second period. We've talked about Trevor Janik throughout this night and last night. Just has not had the offensive touch. You've talked a lot about Michigan and how can they handle playing from behind. Let's pivot now and talk about Notre Dame. They've played really well for the most part this weekend. You feel like they have to find a way to get at least 1 point tonight and get this score evened up. Yeah, they've got to play a little more inside of Michigan zone, and it's a puck possession game. That's what they did yesterday. They did a real good job puck possession. Again, that's a Notre Dame soccer goal. So look for the defensemen to get a little more involved. Haven't seen them quite as much tonight as we did last night. All right, we'll take a break and come back with the third period between Notre Dame and Michigan. Wolverines looking to get the split, and the Irish going for the sweep. Almost set for the third period here in South Bend. Michigan has a lead. Their head coach is probably happy. Brandon Naurato behind the bench now in his first full year, but this goes back to the mid-2000s when he played at Michigan. Heck of a player for the Maize and Blue, Steve. He could move. He's got a good stride, good skating, and can certainly handle the puck. 32 goals and 32 assists over the 4 years of his career. It hasn't been that long time ago. I think he's only 38 years of age. And you see his numbers in 130 games. They won the CCHA championship in 2008. And then had a minor league career. And of course now the second year behind the bench of the Wolverines. Took him to the Frozen Four last year. We've talked a lot about our conversation with him last night before the game. One thing that stuck out to me was how often he mentioned Jeff Jackson. It seemed like he had a lot of reverence for him. He knew that 400 was a possibility this weekend. That's right. And just spoke to the experience and about how Jeff Jackson's seen everything. And one of the things that he's having to learn here in year 2 is how to put his system into place and when to make adjustments. He said that basically someone like Jeff Jackson, he's already seen it all. He knows when to make adjustments and what tweaks have to be executed. They're still working through that in year 2, trying to figure out what exactly does work for him and his very young staff. Yeah, what he said that stuck out to me, he said, you don't know until you go through it. Yeah. And he has now gone through it for almost a year and a half. And he also talked about the importance of assistant coaches. Good chance there for the Irish. And he mentioned Andy Slaggert and Paul Pooley.
two of the best assistant coaches in the entire NCAA ranks, knows both of those guys. In fact, he gave a TED Talk to this team, the Fighting Irish, back in 2000. A little talk on the power of habits. And he quickly told me he read 3 or 4 books on habits and talked to them by Zoom. Of course, that was during COVID and the kind of work stoppage.
Trouble as Shifsky's on the move. Chance for a 2-on-1. Drops it off for Ernest. Loose in the paint. A battle for the puck, and Bischel will make the save. What an opportunity for Michigan early in the third.
Wow. Shifsky made a pass. I thought he should try and shoot it maybe. He forces the pass. They get the shot up, but I think Silanov maybe helped stop this. Silanov comes back hard. Number 9 on the left. Watch him. You know, Bavaro tries to dive, so it's a forward back. Shifsky decides to pass. It gets blocked, and then certainly stopped by Ryan Bischel. There he blocks the pass to Ernest, and it goes off his skate again. And look at Bischel under the pad eventually. Remember that stop. That is huge.
That was Shifsky walking in as Bischel makes a quick save off the draw. But coming into the weekend, Steve, Shifsky had 8 goals and 8 assists. Really skilled freshman. And all of his 8 goals have come even strength. That led the country in even strength goals. He gave it up there, but goodness, he's a great goal scorer that had a chance to possibly pad the lead.
That's a great point. His shooting percentage was at 22% yesterday, and I think he only had 3 or 4 shots, so it's up over 20%. When you're a shooter and you're over 20%, shoot the puck. I mean, when Patrick Kane was winning scoring titles, he was at 15%. So if you're at 20%, that is outstanding.
It's 1-1 after 1. Dylan Duke, the only goal of the second. Is out Moldenhauer's run off the puck, then Draper backhands one just wide. Less than 2 minutes in, Michigan has had the early chances here. As Ali tips it towards Barczewski, he's not going to take any chances, and he'll stop play. This has been a story this year as well, Steve. Michigan at 500 this year. Look how many times they've carried the lead into the third. 11 times they've had the lead, but they have not closed out probably at the rate that they would like to this season.
No, not at 6-3-2. Unfortunately for Notre Dame, 1-4-1 when trailing, so they haven't done a great job of fighting back. But keep in mind, it's a 1-goal lead.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. You certainly don't have to open things up. But you got to change the way you're playing. 2 really good chances early in this period, 2 minutes in for the Wolverines. So pay attention to defense too.
Also coming into the weekend, Michigan had allowed just 24 goals in the first 2 periods combined and 22 in third periods. This has not been their period this year. As the puck is out towards the line, Pluzinski has it roll under his stick, so Bischel will play it behind his own net and send it for Seedham.
Bischel was trying to look off Dylan Duke coming in hard, look him off to make a pass the other way, and Duke took away the strong side. As a result, Bischel had to dish it on his backhand.
Here's Trevor Janicki. You saw him with that backhand opportunity late in the second period. Would love to break out for Notre Dame here and tie the score. Notre Dame won 6-1 last night. If you weren't with us, this would be just a huge bounce back for Michigan. If they could come out of the weekend with a true 3-point split with Notre Dame, considering how it looked last night, they'd have to consider that a huge positive going into the break with all the injuries and guys unavailable tonight and this weekend.
Yeah, it can be demoralizing. You get embarrassed 6-1. I know you're on the road, but still, as you mentioned early in this broadcast, that's the largest margin of victory ever by a Notre Dame team against a Michigan team. So it was historic, and they have bounced back in a real strong way.
I thought last night, we talked about it in the second and third, it looked like they kind of ran out of gas. They have not looked like that tonight. They seem to have gotten better as this game has gone along.
Yeah, puck possession's been a lot different. D getting involved a little more. They're controlling the puck. In that second period, it seemed like a lot of it was played down in Notre Dame's zone. And this kid right here, Seamus Casey, he's been a factor.
And now Nazer is on his way in. Frank Nazer put it through the 5-hole, and it just went wide.
Wow. Master Domenico just got in behind him. He was interfering with Nazer on the shot. Maybe that had something to do with it going a little wide.
Michael Mastrodomenico for Seedham. Didn't see Hughes behind him. Now Hughes is on the run. He's got Duke with him. Hughes for Duke. Oh, and he missed the net. Sedum maybe got a piece. Holtz has the rock. Tried to drop it off, and Strand intercepts. Now Landon Slager is on the move for Notre Dame. He'll shoot over the bar. Barczewski sweeps it towards the corner.
It's like early first period last night, end-to-end action, and I think you're right. I think Ryan Sedum got in the way of that Duke shot. It was a great 2-on-1. Maybe Duke fanned on it a little bit, but that was a wide open cage, and somehow it stayed out.
Seemed destined for a 2-goal Michigan lead. Somehow it's still a 1-goal game. Ooh. And a big hit as Moldenhauer lays out Silanoff. Now Ali's on in, 3-on-1. Drives it so hard it comes all the way back into the Irish end.
Two number 9s crashing into each other, then end-to-end action again, and now a penalty being called on Michigan.
Well, Bishop will go to the bench. Fisher into the offensive end. Drops it off for Bavaro. Back to Fisher. It's now 6-on-5. Extra attackers out there, and it's given away. Shifsky will touch the puck, but a power play coming for the Irish.
Michigan number 15, 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Truscott, their captain, ends up taking a cross-checking penalty. After the shot by Ali, yeah, there you see right on the hip. Frank Nazer, there's that opportunity. Oh, good save by Bishel. Maybe Mastrodomenico helped interfere from behind. And Dylan Duke, let's see the shot. Oh, he just fanned on it. Fanned on the attempt. Wide open cage, and that happens sometimes. Just a puck on edge.
Wow. So a missed opportunity for Duke. And now a golden opportunity for Notre Dame to tie the game. They go to work on the power play. And that was Landon Slager. Second in the country in goals with 12. Broken up by Nazer. He's had a great game. Yeah. Not just the goal, Steve, but I think defensively, he's blocked some shots and he's broken up some opportunities for the Irish tonight.
Absolutely. Playing with a little bit of confidence, being really aggressive, even killing penalties. He and Ernest have been all over the puck.
Irish try to reset things with 35 seconds gone in the advantage. They're 0 for 2 tonight. Bavaro winds it up, tips just wide. There's the Irish captain. Oh, fanned on his pass, and it comes out to center. The Irish have to retreat, and then Brindley, good work by him to intercept and sweep it into the Irish end.
It doesn't happen very often. Maybe took his eyes off the puck a little bit. Tired towards the end of his shift too, and ended up turning it over.
Irish get a new line out there, and here they come. Trevor Janicki sends it around for Hunter Strand. Into the corner, right back for Janicki. Sends it for Strand. Will carry it beneath the goal line. There's Dylan Duke, as now the puck is wedged up along the wall. Ali's got it. Out for Sedum. Across for Janicki. Back for Sedum. Now they go to work. Looking for a deflection. Ali was in position, but he couldn't connect. And Barczewski is able to stop play.
Yeah, Ali providing a bit of a screen, too. I like him on this power play. He's not stationary. He moves around. He's available for a shot. He helps provide a screen. And that time, as you mentioned, just couldn't quite make contact with that puck.
Barczewski tonight has 22 saves. Bishel with 25. And so far this season, been a lot of lopsided scores in this building. Notre Dame's been on both sides of them. Feels like this one, it's going to come down to the final minutes. Here's Brennan Ali. 10 seconds left as Sedum has it. Deflected that time. Barczewski makes the save. Power play has expired. Michigan has looked so much better on the penalty kill this week than they have all season, as Nazer has it. They're back to 5-on-5. It's a 3-on-2. Draper for Nazer, and Strand's able to break it up.
Yeah, Draper maybe should have shot it himself. Tried to give it back to Nazer. He had an opportunity. I know he's on his backhand, but just get it towards the net. Maybe somebody picks up a rebound.
Back come the Wolverines, speeding into the offensive end. Here's Hughes, slams on the brakes. Warren with a big one-timer, and Bishel's up to the test. Puck's loose at center. Slager in a battle with Hughes. Puck squirts free, and it's Nelson who can retrieve it for Notre Dame.
Irish bench looking for an interference call there. Slager trying to get to that puck. It was Casey went out of his way to get in his way, make sure he couldn't get to it.
Less than 12 minutes to go. Moynihan takes a spill across the blue line. Mastrodomenico into the slot for Nelson. Was looking for somebody trailing the play. Nobody home. Intercepted and cleared out to center. Jake Boltman doesn't want to let him change. Tried to find Carter Slacker on his way in. And then the Irish keep the puck in the Wolverine end. This shot deflects out to center. Yeah, penalty coming. Pletzky takes a spill. The Irish faithful don't like it, but it's going to be a Michigan power play coming up.
Tony, this happens a lot towards the end of a shift. Danny Nelson was out there for an extended period of time. He was tired. He wanted to get off the ice, then he stayed out a little longer. Watch him stick his leg out. His left leg, that's a knee-on-knee hit. He realized he was going to miss the man. And
Notre Dame penalty number 11, 2 minutes for tripping.
tripping's the call. Could have been kneeing, but he was tired and ends up taking a penalty, and an opportunity here for this Michigan power play, who scored that 5-on-3 goal, but aside from that, and it's a top-rated power play, have not done an awful lot over these last 2 games.
And Brandon Naurata was just wearing him out. He did not like that. He thought maybe it could be elevated. Notre Dame on the other side, Danny Nelson was pointing at the board saying, "I didn't touch him." I think it was pretty clear he touched him.
Yeah, that was almost knee on knee. I was surprised they didn't call it kneeing.
Yeah.
Tripping's the call. Power play, Wolverines.
Huge moment now. Seamus Casey shoots, and Bischel makes the save, and then immediately the puck is cleared 200 feet. Third power play opportunity of the night for Michigan. Again, they came in with the second best power play in the country. They scored one 5-on-3 last night. Gavin Brindley into the offensive zone, takes it around the net and finds Hughes. Then Bavaro immediately clears it. Notre Dame 2 for 2 on this power play.
Good job by Bavaro. Kind of anticipating that play down the boards, jumps in there, gets the loose puck, and 200 feet down the ice. Ooh, look out.
Silanoff takes it away from Casey. Barczewski handles it behind his net. Okay. Now Michigan will seek a way out of their own zone. So far, so good for this Irish penalty killing unit, which did come into the weekend 8th in the country. They kill penalties very well. Was really the matchup we were looking forward to. See how this top power play line goes against one of the best killing units in the country.
It's been a real good kill so far.
Have not let anything get set up for Michigan. They try to do so here as Lapointe sends it out for Warren. His shot didn't miss by much. Went wide. Puck then ricocheted off the glass out in front, and it's swept once again the length of the rink.
Well, that's a key on penalty killing. The other team might get a shot. You want to make sure they don't get the retrieval. They don't get the bounce off the boards or the rebound off the goalie, and that's what Notre Dame's done a really good job here tonight.
Moldenhauer across for Lapointe. Still 15 seconds left on the advantage. Michigan hunting for that 2-goal lead. The shot, Nazer deflected in front by Lapointe, and it hit the outside of the post. Penalties expired. 5 skaters on the ice. Strand does well to break it up, and now Notre Dame's out the other way. Ali absorbs a hit, finds Mastrodomenico, was looking for a streaking Justin Janicki. It's up and out of play, and the game will take a breath. 9:12 left in regulation between Michigan and Notre Dame. Last night in game 1 was not an example of some of the finishes this series has seen. A season ago, Notre Dame in the final weekend of the regular season would win in overtime against Michigan. Earlier this season, a year ago, on this very rink, it was Grant Silanoff scoring the game-winning goal in overtime. Late game heroics, and if you're a Michigan fan, shield your eyes and ears as we look back at 2018.
Notre Dame will escape. They'll get one more chance. Morrison, can they do it again? Morrison, shot, score! They do it again!
This was Jake Evans back in the Frozen Four when Notre Dame played Michigan. It was a frantic finish, 3.7 seconds left. We've talked about it, Steve. Notre Dame has had the edge as of late in this series, and in a close game like this, you might see some more fireworks down the stretch.
Yeah, they've got the confidence. What was the number 7, 1-1 now? The last 9 times they've played in regular season play, yep. So they're right there.
Won twice in overtime last year, once at Yost, once here, and then go way back into that Frozen Four. I mean, Michigan's been there twice since. That was a Frozen Four in 2018 that Notre Dame, Michigan, and Ohio State, 3 Big Ten teams all attended and watched Minnesota Duluth walk out with the trophy. For Michigan right now, this just feels like a regulation win they desperately need. As Bavaro finds Seedham for a one-timer, and Barczewski has the save.
There's the defense getting involved again. Nice play by Cole Knuble. Takes the hit, gets the puck back to the point. D-to-D pass, the one-timer from Seedham.
8 minutes, 10 seconds left as Trevor Janicki carries it in briefly. It's immediately taken from him, and now Seamus Casey will stick handle in his own zone.
Smooth as a gravy sandwich, Tony. He gets the puck, and it just is like a magnet on his stick. A couple of head fakes and then a quick pivot. Mentioned that play by Cole Knuble along the boards. Gets it to Bavaro. He tees it up to Seedham, maybe going a little bit wide, but Barczewski's not going to take any chances. Doesn't catch it cleanly with his gloves, but makes the stop. Ryan Seedham's been a big part of the offense, especially with his assists this year for the Fighting Irish.
This is the 10th Big Ten game of the season for Michigan. They only have 9 points in the standings. 3 whole points here would be huge for them to go into the break. Again, a lengthy 5-week break until they play again. They won't play for 7 weeks in the Big Ten until January 19th against Michigan State. And Notre Dame's right now, they've only played 7 games coming in. There's the standings right there. I mean, Notre Dame with a win could creep up, and they play Michigan State next weekend. That could be a 1 versus 2 matchup with huge Big Ten regular and postseason ramifications, as well as pairwise down the road and NCAA tournament seeding on the line as well.
I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see Michigan State. Adam Nightingale's just done a fantastic job there. Trey Augustine, the freshman goalie, apparently he's having a great year. Look at this.
Funny hop off the wall. It's a 2-on-1. Nazer looking for the third, and Bischel makes a timely save.
Like the decision there from Nazer. I know it was a 2-on-1. He was trying to put that through the goaltender. Good stop by Bischel.
Cole Knuble feeds one across. It was all Notre Dame last night. And for the majority of game 2 tonight, you have to tip the cap to Michigan. They've had the edge. They've dominated play for the most part throughout this game. They've only allowed Notre Dame to find the back of the net once. Trevor Janicki working in on Warren. He breaks it up and immediately sweeps it the other way.
Good poke check. You know, sometimes you don't always have to hit a guy to separate him from the puck. You know, Warren's got that long reach. He poked it off the stick and then just got it down the ice.
Drew Bavaro navigating traffic, but it's intercepted by Hughes. Here come the Wolverines. This is Duke. Scored what right now is the go-ahead and potential game-winning goal. Maddox Fleming chips it out of his own end. It's back into the Wolverine zone. You say the puck came out, so offside stops play.
Well, 2-on-1. Frank Nazar has a goal in this hockey game. He's a great shooter, and this is right off the draw. The defenseman Fantilli just off the glass, off to the races for Nazar. And look at the force he puts into that shot. Ryan Bischel gets a piece of it. From this angle, you should see it a little clearer. Oh, yeah, that was labeled for inside the left post. Great look by our crew here at the Compton Family Ice Arena.
Well, that last look was fantastic. You can see, I did not realize it was that close. Bischel did just enough to stop Nazar. And he had the first goal. Duke had the second. Those guys have shown up in a big way tonight in game 2 for Michigan.
It's got the feel that you figure next goal is going to win the hockey game. Whether Michigan gets it, and if Notre Dame gets it, this place goes crazy, and I think they got a good chance to win it, if not in regulation, in OT.
Kluzinski will wind one up, doesn't get through, goes towards the corner. Moldenhauer can't gain center, but does enough to chip it up high in the air. Ryan Seedham for Notre Dame takes it, then loses it. Janicki's back on the puck, and he'll sweep it in deep before going off for a line change. Here's Pletsky. I see Michigan now. No-nonsense approach, not taking a lot of chances. As Moynihan finds Slaggert. Here's the Irish captain trying to tie the game. Ricochets off of Barczewski and goes up and out of play. One of the best chances they've probably had this period.
Yeah, and it comes from the captain. Now Barczewski goes down in the butterfly, which most goalies normally do, and it just goes off the top of his shoulder. That's a fresh Slaggert off the player's bench. And that shot, couldn't really see it from there, but just off the shoulder, up into the netting.
And he had 2 goals last night, 12 now on the season, coming off a season in which he had just 7 a year ago. Everyone knew he was more capable than that. Senior season, captain for this team, has shown up in a big way.
It means a lot to him to be captain. I remember an interview he did with the press, the local press here in South Bend. He said it's not lost on him. It's a great tradition here. His brother Graham, a captain. You mentioned Adam Karashik, captain last year. And, you know, I talked to Jeff Jackson about his leadership, and he goes, he's not a rah-rah guy, but he certainly leads by example. He's on the ice. He's given it 110%. And other guys notice. Teammates notice. Guys on the ice, guys on the bench.
This is worth pointing out. He hasn't scored tonight. Oh my goodness, huge hit between Nazer as now Nelson's walking in. Slaggert's on the doorstep, and the puck squirts just wide.
No stick for the goalie. He's got it now.
Oh, Barczewski, you're right, did just finally retrieve his stick. He was in a vulnerable position as now the puck is cleared towards the Irish end. Bultman is able to settle it for his defense mate, Michael Mastrodomenico. Notre Dame this year is 8-2 when Landon Slaggert scores a goal. They've not won a game this year when he hasn't scored. He hasn't scored tonight. There's a shot towards Bischel, makes the first stop. Puck was up high in the air, then it comes down, swept out to center as the clock is under 4 minutes to go. Cole Knuble takes it into the offensive end. Wow, managed to get a feed to Janicki. Couldn't quite connect cleanly, and Michigan clears it out of harm's way.
He got around Casey. Watch this steal.
Brindley, great work. Gets it to Hughes. Centers a feed for Duke. This has been the best Michigan line tonight.
It really has. They're all talented, too. Not overly big, but they can certainly move the puck.
Brindley, no goals on the weekend, but has really managed to create a ton of offensive opportunities for his line mates tonight. They'll go off. Irish play it through center. And Ali is into the offensive end. For Janicki, puck's poked free. It's Philip Lapointe in a foot race with Janicki. Skating back. Bischel does enough to make the save.
Good job by Janicki to get on his horse, put pressure on Lapointe. Lapointe did a good job protecting the puck. Took it to his backhand, just couldn't get it by Bischel.
No stick for Bischel. It's behind the net. Also another loose stick in the opposite corner. Notre Dame's got to get it out so Bischel can retrieve his stick. He'll do just that as it comes through center. Irish make a change. 2.5 minutes to go in the 162nd all-time meeting between Notre Dame and Michigan. There's Danny Nelson for Notre Dame. Scored his 3rd goal of the season last night. Top line's out there for the Irish. Spanked off the wall, out towards center. Shifsky absorbs a hit in front of his own bench.
Good play by the freshman. He knew he was going to get hit. He took it, hung on to it, made the right play.
Ryan Seedham battling with Draper in the corner with 2 minutes to go. Moldenhauer centers a pass that deflects off a puck and goes up high. And Draper and Seedham are all kinds of tied up. Michigan bench, I think maybe wanted a call. All the arms stay down. Play continues as the puck goes into the corner again. Here's Casey. That's the guy you want with the puck if you're Michigan. Plays it for Brindley, gets it back, leaves it for Brindley again. His shot is saved by Bischel, and now a big collision in front as everybody comes together.
And Master Domenico with a headlock on Duke. And then he goes down easily.
Oh no, I think they're gonna get Duke for this.
Wow, and that's exactly what Master Domenico wanted.
You gotta be, if you're both teams, you gotta be smart here and stay out of the box in the final 2 minutes.
Well, exactly. Unless they try to even this up and throw off Master Domenico, but he started it with a takedown, kind of a headlock body slam.
He's going off. But just to the bench.
And yeah, they are opening the other bench door.
Michigan, number 25, 2 minutes for roughing after the whistle.
That's it. Wow. It'll be interesting to see Brandon Naurato on this one, because watch the takedown. Master Domenico there, pushing and shoving afterwards, and after they get up, a little push there by Duke, and then, you know, unless that was a butt end, it seemed like an extreme reaction from Master Domenico.
I think that's what they're upset about. That seemed like it was embellished to an extent. But I think, and he has a reason to be upset, but I think if you're Dylan Duke, you can't do that right there, right?
No. You know, you get taken down, and yeah, you're hoping for a penalty call, but it's just too late in the hockey game.
And Bischel's going to the bench.
No, so we're going to see a 6-on-4 here with 1:34.
And again, this penalty kill has not been great this year. Notre Dame has its timeout. I think they've called it.
Timeout, Notre Dame.
Yeah, to set up the 6-on-4. So let's just get the house in order here. Michigan's upset because that did look like there was maybe a little bit of extra put onto that spill. But I just think, Steve, and I don't think it was really wise for Master Domenico to be involved, because if he goes off, then Michigan can wind the clock out. But
right.
He was able to at least ride the line enough to draw the penalty. And that's just not a spot I don't think you can put yourself in late in the game right there.
Yeah, you know, the ultimate payback is winning this hockey game. So there's the takedown. Okay, I understand. Duke's not happy about it. Now, as he gets up, oh, maybe it is the stick.
Maybe he did kind of catch him in the jaw or head area, which what they were sensitive to.
No,
You saw the stick.
If it was the stick, it was like in the midsection.
Yeah.
So, but I agree. I mean, you got to take one for the team. The ultimate payback is to win this hockey game. Right. Now he's put his team down a man. Now they're going to be down 2 men because the net is empty. Now, if you're a Michigan fan, the advantage of this is you can ice the puck and possibly score an empty net goal. You don't have to worry about the icing call. I saw Paul Pooley there. He drew up the play for his power play. And we'll see what they can come up with.
Oh, what a moment this is for both teams, but feels like even more so Michigan trying to get in to the holiday break on the right note. Notre Dame critically wins the face-off, and they can go to work here. 6-on-4 for 90 seconds if they need it. Danny Nelson tries to tie it. Casey blocked the shot.
The inside of his hand, that's gotta hurt. He's in a bit of pain.
He's still out there. Janicki's got it. Plenty of time to move the puck. Here's Bavaro. Shoots. Barczewski able to see it through traffic and glove it down.
I like the setup, though. It's a 3-1-2. Ollie in the middle, the 2 defensemen back along with Danny Nelson. And they're trying to get it to Nelson so he can kind of run downhill, take the shot. That's how Seamus Casey ended up hurting his hand. That second one just gets blocked.
4 new Michigan players come on here. And Notre Dame again wins an important face-off. Bavaro for Sedum. Sedum's got it again. They go down low for the captain, Landon Slager. Less than a minute. Bavaro for Nelson, walking in, shooting for the short side, and Barczewski, being tested, has the answers.
I think that went off the knob of his stick. And that thing was labeled by Danny Nelson. He can bring it with heat. And this knocked the stick out of Barczewski's hand. I'm pretty sure it hit the knob. Let's see the shot from behind. Danny Nelson walking into it, picking his spot. Yeah, that goes off the knob. Maybe it was going a little bit wide, but still hits the knob of the stick.
Notre Dame's got the same 6 out there, and again, against the #1 face-off team in the country in Michigan, they win it. Bavaro hammers one well wide, and Sedum's waiting right there. 40 seconds left, 6-on-4. Notre Dame trying to tie the score in game 2. Bavaro for Nelson. It's out of his reach. Goes down low for Trevor Janicki. Back for Nelson. Just 25 seconds. Nelson shoots, and again, Barczewski able to see it and shrug it out of play.
Well, that's what they're trying to set up. Danny Nelson, high above the blue line. He's coming downhill with some speed. Now, this might get deflected before it gets to Barczewski. Let's watch the stick of Warren. Oh, no, you're right. That goes off the shoulder of Barczewski. He makes the stop. Oh, making himself big.
22 seconds. Big win for Michigan. Brindley will try to clear it. He does, and there's no icing with it being 6-on-4. Bavaro has to race back. Just 10 seconds left. One last gasp for the Irish. Big stretch ahead for Janicki. Into the corner with 5. Center's in front. It's swept back to the corner. 1 second left, and Michigan will get the split. What a response in game 2 by the Wolverines. Barczewski with the exclamation point at the end.
Well, that's a huge bounce back win for the Wolverines. In Paris last night on this same ice surface, they came back tonight really for good chunks of this game. Controlled offensively, got great goaltending when they needed it, and a huge victory on enemy ice for Michigan.
Brandon Naurato has to be incredibly pleased with how his team responded in game 2 tonight. They respond after a 6-1 loss last night, and when the dust settles, these two rivals split a pair of games in South Bend. That'll do it for us. For my broadcast partner, Steve Conroy, producer Derek Coleman, director Doug Thompson, and the rest of the outstanding crew in South Bend, Tony Simeone saying so long. We'll talk to you in a month when we're back at the Compton Family Ice Arena.